Okay, good day, everyone. Colleagues and friends from the different corners of Europe and different corners of the world. It's wonderful to see you again online. Many of you have participated in the LIVIND events already before. Today, our topic is cultural heritage education, and I will let our good colleagues from the Cultural Heritage Education Association to start. But just before that, I will give you just some information about the LIVIND project. So my name is Leena Marsio. I work here in the Finnish Heritage Agency, coordinating the UNESCO Convention on Intangible Cultural Heritage. And also the project coordinator, Elisa Kraatari, is with us, but having a flu, so will be a quiet participant then today. And the slides are not changing.
You have to click on it once to activate it, because once you put it into the share screen mode, you're activating the Zoom window. So you have to click it once to activate the PowerPoint in itself.
Thank you.
No worries. That's why I'm here. Tech support
Yes.
for the win.
So in short, LIVIND project is about creative and living cultural heritage as a resource for the Northern Dimension region. So we started in September 21 and will be continuing to summer 2024. Our partners are from 9 countries in Northern Dimension region, that is the Nordic countries, Baltic countries, and Poland. It's mainly funded by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, by the Finnish Heritage Agency, and also the Northern Dimension Partnership on Culture with a budget almost €500,000. We've been really passionate, or we are really passionate on sustainable development. And you've all heard about Agenda 2030 and the 17 goals. Our aim with this project is to bring the Agenda 2030 into the grassroots level. And here is one beautiful example about how to do it. And so these are the 17 sustainable development goals. And in this flower of SDG, as we call it, we have put it into quite concrete things of how living heritage can support the achieving of the sustainable development goals. And also our workshop today touches upon many of these issues. What's timely in the LIVIND project, for those of you who know it quite well already? So this spring, we are supporting 20 pilot projects across the project area. You can see those little dots on the map where all they are. But they are in concrete addressing different aspects of sustainability in crafts, in nature-related heritage, in dance, in schools, in many different areas. But you can find more information on the pilots from our website. Today, you will learn more about the interesting and I would say quite magnificent methods that our partner, the association, has been using, but we are especially proud to present our newest tool, the Spinner of Living Heritage. It's a tool created by the Finnish Heritage Agency in collaboration with the Association of Cultural Heritage Education in Finland. We aim to strengthen the inclusion of children and young people to enable a diverse approach to cultural heritage. The tool is aimed at teachers, education, instructors, or even hobby groups, anyone interested in cultural heritage. We are really happy to launch all these wonderful translations of the Spinner. So we started off in Finnish, but now we have, can't do the counting here, but maybe 11 different languages, the latest edition being Northern Sami that was finished today. And here in the picture, you see the Ukrainian version of the Spinner. And just a few weeks back, we had 88 teachers from Ukraine on our online workshop that me and Ira were facilitating. So warmly welcome to the event. And as mentioned, also our previous events can be found online, and Elisa gave you the link. But here, just a quick glance on the different aspects of sustainability on economic, ecologic, social, and cultural. So feel free to get to know them and follow our upcoming events. But I would now like to give the floor to Ira and Eva to take it away with the workshop. So enjoy.
Thank you so much, Lena. Thanks for the great kickoff for this event, and welcome on our behalf as well. My name is Eva Astala, and I'm the Executive Director of the Association of Cultural Heritage Education in Finland. And Ira, do you want to say hi?
Hyvää päivää Tampereelta. Hello to all of you from Tampere, Finland. And I hope you are seeing my sharing well now. Okay.
Yeah.
So we decided Eva is a little bit starting and I'm continuing then later.
Yeah. About today's program, we will first, or Ira will first talk a little about us and the way we work and our goals and methods, but I think in very practical terms. So I think the idea is to give you as many practical insights to how we work. And after the slides part, we will then have 2 exercises, which will go in more detail soon. But I have to say that the other one includes you stepping outside, so be prepared to have your jacket and shoes ready towards the end of the workshop. So the chat function is in use at all times. So please use that, ask questions, give comments, network, use it for your own purposes. And we will try to answer and follow and also take some questions from there. So we're today, I think, well, now we have 87 participants, which is amazing. So great to have you all here. Since we are so many, Elisa has actually created a Padlet page that has introductions from you. I will soon put the link into the chat. Please go and have a look, fill in your own introductions or best practice examples there in the Padlets. And I think that will be a good way for networking and sharing and sort of finding each other through that. I will put it soon in the chat. And of course, it's for you to use afterwards as well. So we will keep it open. Right, but about us, about the Association of Cultural Heritage Education in Finland, not the shortest name, but that's how we're called. We're funded in 2006. So we're in our teens as an association. Our, how should I say, our sort of goal or aim is to strengthen the cultural competencies and participation of children and youth in cultural heritage. So that's why we exist. And we work mainly with professionals and organizations in education, teaching, sometimes with youth work, and of course, cultural heritage educators. We also do work with children and youth. So I think that's important for us to also work with our target group themselves. At the moment, we are actually 5 persons. Me and Ira are the only full-time employees, but we have 3 people working in projects. So Kati, Kim, and Tuuli we're all a great group. We're situated in the House of Nobility, which is here in the picture. It's really in downtown of Helsinki, and it's a beautiful building. We're lucky to be here. And if you ever are in the neighborhood, just give us a call, pop by for a coffee and a chat. We would like to really much meet you all. And as we said, actually before starting this workshop, or we were talking with Lena, that we do a lot of international projects as well. And we're really open to new connections and new project ideas and partnerships. So, just hit us with an email or a phone call or something, and yeah, would be lovely to talk with you more. But without further ado, Ira, if you want to add something from the association, or then just continue with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. I think I will just continue the presentation because I'm worried that when I start talking, it usually will take longer time than I was planning to. So I'm at least very thinking that I am following the time here. So we decided that Eva is more checking the chat, and also I don't mind if you want to put a microphone on, but maybe it's easier since we are so many that if you want to comment or ask, do it during from the chat. And then in the end, we hopefully, if we don't talk too much, we have time for questions and more networking. But now would be your first task, because we really want to give only the very participatory methods. So also these webinars, we usually want to know a little bit more of you and also share about us. So now you could be introducing yourself in chat, but what is your name? And share a memory of cultural heritage from your own school years. What happened? And what did you learn? And we were a little bit thinking this question with Eva, so we have been training. So if you haven't changed your story, I am going to ask and see if it's the same that you answered me last time, but could you share one memory from your school years and that had something to do with the cultural heritage?
I have many, but I think the one of the strongest, because it's one of the earliest memories I have actually of my whole life, and that's related to cultural heritage. Of course, this didn't happen during school years. I was, I think, 4 or maybe 5 years old. We were visiting Madrid and Reina Sofia Museum, and there I saw the painting of Guernica by Pablo Picasso. And of course, I didn't know anything about the painting. I just stepped into the room and saw this huge painting that was so compelling, so interesting. It totally told a story. It had a feeling. I was really strongly affected by it. And I could see that there was something strange going on, and that there was this sort of story that the painting was trying to tell me. And of course, later I understood that it was about the civil war in Spain. But even as a 4-year-old, I could understand not the context, but the feeling. So that's my memory. What about you, Ira?
Story. Yeah. I think I only have memories from my childhood years when I was 4-3 about Donald Duck, so you sound much more civilized than me. I'm telling a little bit different memory. I was studying Russian in my 8th and 9th grade, and then in the 9th grade we could join to the trip to, back then it was Soviet Union since I'm so old, and it was a 1-week trip to, first we took a train to Moscow, then to Kiev, and then to St. Petersburg, which back then was Leningrad. And the whole week I was like a full teenager, so I was horrified of about everything. It was a culture shock for me, the foods, I didn't understand the language, even I had been studying it and all, and anyway, I was typical teenager. So when we finally entered to St. Leningrad, we had one mission. We were supposed to go to this big church, St. Isaac's Cathedral, Sobor Isayevsky, maybe. Anyway, we had a 1 hour and we had this leaflet, one paper, a lot of questions, and we were supposed to find the information inside the church. But when the bus entered close to church, I saw something beautiful, something amazing, something I could not resist. It was a grill kiosk which had Pepsi on top of it, and the whole hour went because we all 50 teenagers were waiting to get hot dogs and Pepsi. And I never entered the church. I had to get the answers from somebody else. And I thought that I can go there sometime in my life, but that moment hasn't yet come. And so even I became a civil and cultural person, my start wasn't fully good. So it can be many kinds of memories that we have, but sometimes positive, but it was a learning experience. I learned that when you are traveling, you have to check your time and choose what is the important thing. So that kind of memory. Is there anything nice stories in the chat?
Yeah, there are several good stories. I suggest that everybody go and have a read. There are a few different kinds. One is also about food, about dill meats, a Finnish classic from the 70s or 80s in a school meal. And then a totally different one, a celebration of the Day of the Death in Mexico.
Oh, sounds very interesting. I'm going to, when we are putting you to work, I'm going to go through the chat then. But this is how we usually start, or how I usually start when I go to schools or meeting people, giving lectures and seminars. I'm asking from the audience what cultural heritage is important to you. And now you could continue. You could also answer in a chat, and this is like the main question, because we want to kind of think about a little bit what is actually important to me, and what how I'm working with that, how I'm like sharing it, how I'm practicing it, and how did I end up choosing it. The picture here is from my hometown, from Tampere, and there's this kind of, it used to be this kind of looking ugly building. It was for railroads, Finnish railroads, this kind of, not garage, but the station for keeping objects and items there. And then it wasn't used anymore, and they were thinking of tearing it down. But then the people of Tampere said that you can't tear it down because there's been, in civil war, which happened in Finland 1918, a lot of shooting outside. So it's not respectful to tear the building down. So it was protected, but nothing was done for it. So it went to this really bad condition until a few years ago. The town decided that they need to build a road, because this area of Tampere is now very dynamically built. And they decided that they are moving the walls 50 meters for different direction, and then the road can be built. And now it's done. The picture is just a few weeks before it started to be removed, and it's now a concert hall. Every weekend there's rock and pop concerts, even discos for old people. I haven't yet gone there, but I'm planning to. And I don't know what kind of heritage was actually saved there, because it was moved, and now where the shooting happened is actually you walk through that area. But it's complicated things, this heritage. They sometimes are about like hidden, little bit difficult heritage, and how to protect that kind of. And are you protecting the tradition or the story or the narrative, or something, is it intangible or tangible? So that's why I'm also using this photo to think about that, what in the heritage is meaningful. Did we have some good cultural heritage comments there, Eva, in the chat?
I think people are still sharing the memories from school.
That's good.
But, but
okay.
It's something to think about for everybody.
But you can still write your important cultural heritage in the chat.
Yeah, and I just said that the concert hall is a very nice one. I've actually gone there once, and one of the best venues I've been in a long time. So that's why I commented on the chat. Sorry for the interruption.
No, but it's everybody says it's a great place now, and so maybe it was good that they moved the building. A few weeks ago, I was visiting school also in Tampere, and there are Ukrainian students mostly in that class, and they were also answering the same question. And I was trying to translate it them in English. I'm not fully sure if I did right, but just to notice that they were teenagers, Ukrainians mostly. They chose heritages that were like about food or celebrations. And for me, since I'm doing this often in many places, it was a little bit different. At least in Finnish, students and pupils are maybe more choosing the forest, the sauna, the Christmas traditions, and sometimes foods, but anyway, a little bit different, which is understandable, but was interesting. And so we usually do these word clouds afterwards. And here we are doing picking the heritage in that classroom, and also already jumping a little bit too forward, because today we are doing the spinner of living heritage a bit later, and this is how the Ukrainian versions were done at my home office. But I'm moving on. Intergenerational learning is very important part of our work at the moment, and this photo is quite new. It's from last Friday in Jyväskylä. We had a LIVIND kind of workshop in Jyväskylä, and we had asked also the class of refugee pupils, and then a little bit like senior citizens, older people, to come, and we were sharing what is the important heritage for each other. And also the older people had brought some old objects that were important to them, and the pupils were trying to guess what is this object, and they were actually really surprisingly good with that. They were using Google Lens, and that was kind of it. The learning was happening both ways, because the older people were learning how to use Google Lens and how to see what is the object, what the Google knows about the object. So one of the important ways of working that we are doing. We are training teachers all the time, and this is the photos of the last couple of seminars. The first photo is from teacher seminar where we were doing foods from Middle East, and especially Kurdi foods. And the teachers have a lot of students from these areas like Turkey, Iran, Iraq, Syria. So they were now tasting the foods from there and kind of learning about it. And the other photo is actually from Spain, from our Future Narratives project, where we were learning and doing videos in the old monastery, which is in the photo. So we do a lot of videos. That's been one of the methods we work a lot. Eva actually could share in the chat the link our YouTube. If you want to go, there is some playlists, especially for living heritage, and also for World Heritage, and some other videos. And usually we want kids to decide what and how they are doing the video, like what is the subject, so they can be experts and take it in their own hands. And we found it's been really good method to work with. And actually some of the videos have been getting a lot of viewers also. Is it the sauna videos that are most watched year after year? Yes. Gamification is the word today. So we do from the simple Kahoot games to a little bit more advanced games in the projects. And also one of the projects we are now hoping that we get some money, it would be a bit more bigger game coming from that project, but we don't know yet how it's going to turn out. Then about some project that we've been working just recent weeks, it's also the same Ukrainian students in Tampere, and the project is Erasmus project, and the Cyprus and Croatia are with us, called Creative Placemaking. And today, when you are hopefully going outside with our little workshop and doing little practice, the first photos are when the youth were doing the same part. So they were experiencing the outside. And then they were starting to have a making dream maps from the schoolyard. We want to do a little change in the schoolyard, and we wanted that the kids, the refugee pupils, can say a word what they would want. And they made yesterday, was it like 15 maybe dream maps? And I have to say that it was really meaningful and touching actually experience, because that class includes students from, for example, Afghanistan, and there were 2 girls who said that they wouldn't want to change anything in the schoolyard because the dream has been to get to the school, and they are first time in the school, and they were 12 and 13 years old, so they didn't want to change anything. From the others, there was some criticism. As you can see, they took photos what they don't like in the schoolyard, and these stairs and the ugly walls were mentioned in the photos. And this is the plan that we have working with the artist Mollu Heino. And hopefully we get the permission to do this very flowery and full color thing, art to the stairs. But this is just the artist's like a plan at the moment. So the last photo is not in reality yet. Hopefully will be in May. Outdoor learning and utilizing local heritage sites. For example, World Heritage Sites, we are making different ways how to. For example, one video project was that the kids who are living close to World Heritage Site were doing videos about it and kind of making it possible for kids around Finland and around the world to see what they think about the close heritage spot close to them. So, and when we are working outside, it's important to have a pre-visit materials and follow-up work. So it's not just we go somewhere and then we never kind of discuss what we actually saw and what happened. So the both is needed to pre-work and after work when you go outside classroom. History clubs, and we had also this kind of cooking club going. Do you want to, Eva, tell a little bit how the history club situation is at the moment? We on top, we had like 15 clubs around Finland and mostly for teenagers.
Yeah. And as Ira, you said, around Finland, so very all over the place, which geographically was great that we could actually reach children and especially young people from all around Finland. Now I have to say we're still working with some history clubs, but since the finance system has changed, previously we applied for the funding from the Ministry of Education and Culture, and we could organize the clubs. But nowadays it's done so that the municipalities apply for the funding and then buy from us, the sort of producers of the clubs. And this has been difficult for us. We're a small organization, and even though we work nationwide, it's hard to reach each one of the 200 and something municipalities and advertise the clubs. So we still have some going on, but not that as much as in the peak years.
Yeah, and we also wanted to share the kind of the obstacles or the hardships or challenges. So we were really working hard to get this history club going on, and it started to be better. And then now we are facing a little bit problems. And also this cooking club was happening in the Zoom every Friday, but unfortunately we didn't have like money to continue it, and maybe the kids didn't really find it, but the idea was good. So they were cooking together through the Zoom every Friday, and it was good experience to try. Sometimes it's not a success, but you learn. Little bit of the earlier project we had with Serbia, Spain, and there was Italy also involved. It was called Heritage Hubs, and there the idea was that in every country there was 3 schools, and pupils were choosing what heritage is important to them and sharing it with some other school from abroad. And then they were actually taking it a little bit further. And so, for example, winemaking was chosen by Spanish schools. So Finnish were kind of, was it Finnish school? Maybe it was actually Serbian school, but they were getting to know more how the winemaking is done in Spain. And then the Spanish pupils visited and saw what's not actually wine was made because they were underage, but there was juice done from the grapes and berries. And there was all kinds of different heritage, and the kids were able to choose and what they wanted to share. And also those videos that they made are in our YouTube channel. And this was all, everybody, teachers, pupils were giving really good feedback of this project, that they had learned so much, and many of the pupils are still keeping contact abroad. Even the project ended a few years ago, so it was successful. Then last 8 years, what I've been working in our association, the culture education plans have been also on our agenda. Not only us, but other participants in Finland are working on this. And culture educational plan is a local agreement and always written in cooperation with schools, like education and culture sector professionals. And it's kind of trying to be integrated with different subjects. So it's not only one teacher or one subject that's doing this. And the main point in this plan is that everybody in that municipality, all the kids, like if they are third grade, get the same. So it's not about the activity or about the teacher who chooses to take the kids to concert or library, but everybody goes, and it's like decided that it's equal for everybody. And there's different systems around the Finland, but over 3 million people now, we have plus 5 million, so over 3 million people from Finland are living now in the municipality that has culture education plans. So it's been going well, and mostly kind of small towns and a bit rural areas are outside this system. And this year we are trying to again work very hard that there would be more like a heritage kind of heritage involved and included in these plans, that it's not, sometimes it can be like also a lot of just art and culture and not so much heritage, but we are getting there. It's progressing. We have an online material bank called Kulttuurin vuosikello. It's been also open maybe 6 years now, a bit more. And I think there's actually almost 700 ideas and tips at the moment. And last year we had 116,000 visitors. So as nobody has told me that there would be some other page in Finland that there would be more visitors. So I'm thinking that maybe we are the biggest, but I might be wrong. I haven't fully fact-checked this, but we are one of the biggest ones, and every material there is free. Sadly, there's not so much in Swedish or English, but some materials are there, but it's also that we don't really have finances to translate everything. So that would be excellent if one day we could share it also in other languages more. Then just some points. This is from the screenshot from the teacher magazine in Finland, which is saying that the refugee students should not be protected into silence, that often teachers are so worried that if they are talking about the different cultures and different heritages that the pupils have, that it's like a stigma. And there's been study made in Finland that actually it's worse if you don't talk about. So we are trying to strengthen the teachers' kind of the idea and the confidence to include all the heritages that are presented in his or her classroom, that they would be kind of talked and celebrated and known there. Some thoughts of the projects, and this list I was making a little bit thinking, if you are now having a project that you are maybe wondering. So you could be asking these questions. Are young people involved in these activities, and how to strengthen the voices that are not commonly heard, not only the pupils or maybe the Finnish pupils, but is there like minorities included in the class? Is it safe for everybody to comment and question? What we call in Finnish carrots, like some extra good things are there for participants. We've noticed that usually teachers need some carrots, that they are kind of coming to do this little extra work. And how are digital and communication tools used? So we are the mission is the education and the cultural heritage education, not to use some tool or not to just make a video. There has to be an idea why to do it. And this I'm also maybe just leaving for you to, we are going to send you this PowerPoint later on. So who defines cultural heritage? Whose stories get to be told? When we are talking about who we are talking about, and how to strengthen the young people's voice. Those are the most important points for us. This photo is actually from Portugal. It used to be that Europeans thought that the end of the world was there in the edge of the Portuguese cliffs by the sea. And now we know how colonialistic and wrong idea that was. And that could be the same idea with our own idea of the heritage, that we are not maybe seeing. We have like a blind spot there. So that's why I chose that photo. But now, enough talking. We are practicing trying this with Eeva, and I think you all received an email that there was a link to the material. So you could have printed this as a paper, and then you could cut it with the scissors and then put it together in the middle. But like Eeva would have there like a basic version, and I have already the ready version. But if you don't have now time to print and cut, you can still open the PDF and see the questions. But
yeah, and I put the link to the spinner into the chat, and as Lena already showed, there are different language versions for you to choose from. So take what you feel most comfortable with, or if you feel adventurous, then take some not so familiar language for you.
But soon we are actually spreading you to the 3 people groups. So the English might be easiest, but if you want to really take the risky road, just take the foreign language and start working. But I'm now showing how this should be done with Eeva. So you have the questions here, and here are the words that are actually planned in Finland about the main points about the curriculum, kind of that the teachers should include in their teaching. But they are environment, economy, culture, interaction, and learning. And how we use this tool is, I could now ask you, Eeva, what cultural heritage is important to you?
I would say I'll go for a classic, Christmas.
Christmas. Is there some part of Christmas like Christmas tree or some food or Santa Claus or?
I think the foods and eating together.
Yeah, eating together and Christmas foods. So first you pick what is important to you, and then you, because you ask the questions, you decide, you are leading. So I'm making this, maybe let's start with learning with Eeva.
Mm-hmm.
So think about the Christmas foods and eating together, and the first question would be, how have you learned this heritage? Who taught it to you? Where did you?
My family yeah, my parents, my siblings, my family. Yeah.
Have you added something like when you during your life, like is it still very similar foods that were in your childhood, or have you added anything to your Christmas table?
I think we've sort of stuck with the classics, but then upgraded a little bit and tried some new spices or some new methods, but the basic is still the same.
Basic is still there. You don't have to go when you are doing this, not every exact question. So you can a little bit jump, but I will ask the fifth one. Do you think this heritage will live on in the future?
I would think so. Yeah, I do think so. It's an old tradition, and I think it's valued by a lot of people.
Yeah, I think the Christmas foods are really like important. Even we maybe don't like every dish, but it's important to have them available in the table.
Exactly.
But let's take the environment part, because this also is about to think about the heritage in a sustainable ways. So is this heritage connected to the nature, and how is the first question here?
Yeah, it is. I think since a lot of the dishes are quite traditional, they are, how do you call them, kausiruoka, seasonal food.
Seasonal foods, yes.
Seasonal foods, and which means that they are quite ecological.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there's a lot of vegetable dishes and yeah, that kind of things. The fourth question would be, can practicing this heritage be made more environmentally friendly? So if there is some problems, how could you make it better? Because I know that there is a lot of meat involved in Finnish Christmas foods. So, and I know you are vegetarian, so
I am. Yeah. I guess there are, of course, and using maybe, for example, fish that is ethically produced, or not eating meats at all would be also a way to move forward to a more ecological way.
Have you ever made this ham, like the vegetarian version of ham?
Yeah, seitan ham. Yeah. Yes, I've done it. I've made a really dry, awful tasting version. So don't ask for the recipe from me.
Okay, I am like not a big ham eater, but if I don't get my ham in the Christmas dinner, I'm going to be upset. It's part of my Christmas tradition, but so it would be problematic if it's not allowed to eat anymore, but maybe I could continue living. So this is the idea. The idea is that you are talking about your important heritage. Some of you maybe shared it already in the chat, and then get to know each other. This is also like a tool for dialogue. And even now when you are put to the 3 people groups, I know it feels weird to go and talk about with the stranger, but you will notice that actually it's really easy and you start sharing much more than you intended to. So Simo will be very soon putting you to the groups, and you are supposed to little bit test. So if one of the members is the group has at least the questions you could be asking each other. And Lena came here to say something, I'm sure.
In case some of you has not been crafting your own spinner, or you never got it from me in some event, I put an easy read version. So you can open that one on your screen and have a look at the question, because if you didn't print it, it's gonna be rather hard to, you need to do this to your laptop. So click on the easy read version in case you don't have this one in your hands.